you can now play this brand new Kassandra and Eivor crossover DLC for free in Valhalla right now, which is great news, but there's also a huge amount of changes and additions that have been added to the game that you need to be aware of. So in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to break down all of the key bits of info you need to know about Valhalla and Odyssey this week, so you can kind of decide if it's actually worth downloading and of course worth your time. So let's get going. Now first up, Valhalla has been refined, restructured and condensed by Ubisoft as the game was just too big, and that means you can uninstall your current game and then re-download the new Valhalla client, which to be honest isn't ideal, but the trade-off is worth it in my opinion, as the game is actually going to be reduced to approximately 60 to 70 gigabytes on the Xbox Series X and S, 40 to 60 gigabytes on the PS4 and 5, and around 77 gigabytes on the PC. Also, your save data won't be affected by this uninstall reinstall change, by the way, so don't worry about that. Now there's actually two free-to-play DLC updates here. First, we have a fated encounter in Valhalla, which is all about Eivor meeting Kassandra on the Isle of Skye on the west coast of Scotland, and our second free DLC is called Those Who Are Treasured, which actually takes place in Odyssey, where you will journey to Corfu Island and find a piece of Eden as Kassandra. And the idea of this crossover story format here is that you actually pick up Kassandra's story at the end of Odyssey, where she actually begins a new quest to travel the world and track down Isu artifacts. So essentially, this Odyssey DLC quest sets the scene and explains how Kassandra comes across Eivor in Scotland, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. Really interesting side note here though, Jose, post-launch producer of Valhalla, also mentioned in an interview with Eurogamer that maybe you'll see more crossover stories like this in the future. So I would really expect this kind of format going forward in future updates, by the way, just as a FYI. Now, if you haven't logged on to Odyssey in a while, just know that Ubisoft are actually allowing you to play Odyssey completely free from the 16th to the 19th this weekend coming, which is actually really great and ties in really nicely with this free Odyssey side quest DLC. Saying that though, if you actually already own Odyssey already, you can play this right now. You just need to have completed the first story chapter, and the content is actually going to scale in difficulty to your current level. So it's not going to be impossible to complete. There's not any crazy restrictions on it per se, especially if you're kind of brand new to the game. It's also approximately around 13 gigabytes in size across all platforms, and I'm not going to chat about in any depth story spoilers here in this video apart from the synopsis I've kind of already just mentioned. But it is good fun and it's worth a look in this weekend, particularly if you've got some spare time, as it actually doesn't cost you anything at all. Now, as for the Valhalla fated encounter, when you do log on, Valka is going to inform you that terrible nightmares have actually gripped the population of the Isle of Skye on the west coast of Scotland, and Eivor needs to get to the root of the cause and resolve this situation. This is of course how Eivor comes across Kassandra, who's out there hunting for those Isu artifacts in her immortal form. And again, I'm not going to divulge any story spoilers for this questline either, but just to let you know, as a requirement to actually play this free DLC story, you'll need to have a settlement level of 4 and have completed a Wise Friend quest, which is the one where you actually help Valka establish herself at Ravensthorpe and help her build her house. Now, this fated encountered story took me around 2 or so hours, and you actually pick up 2 rewards. You get the Spear of Leonidas from a chest in this location on your map, as well as the Hero's Sword from the north side of the map at this location. They're just in chests, it's not too hard to get. Also, when you are doing the questline, stand here for the standing stones. It's just a quick tip, it'll help you out and save some time hopefully. It took me way too long to figure that out. And by the way, if you felt like this video has been helpful so far, and only if you wouldn't mind, leaving a like down below only takes a second of your time and it genuinely helps me out a lot. So firm handshakes all around and thank you very much. Now, we've also actually got even more content coming this Thursday. We'll see the return of the Yule festival from last year, which runs from December the 16th to January the 6th, and we've got no further details as of yet apart from the confirmation from Ubisoft that we're going to be picking up new items, including a snowy beard, a brand new haircut and some settlement decorations. But I'm not expecting the reinvention of the wheel here. Most likely it's going to be what we've seen before in previous festivals, and I'll of course be dropping a no-nonsense 5-minute video recap on that for you on Thursday. But let's talk about some big upgrades to Valhalla, because there is a lot here. First up, the difficulty settings. There's actually been a wide variety of subsections added to the combat, stealth and exploration options in the gameplay tab while you're actually in game. This essentially allows you to completely customize your stealth and combat experience in Valhalla depending upon how you want to play. So for example, I can actually reduce the parry time window in the combat settings, which makes it more challenging for me in game. I can also do the same thing for stealth, where I can actually increase or decrease the detection escape timer, which allows me a little bit more time or less to actually get away from enemies. And I personally really like these changes. They're very welcome in my opinion, and it's encouraging to see Ubisoft kind of implement this into their settings. I'm also going to put all of the patch notes in the description, by the way, loads more improvements and changes, so it's definitely worth a look if you're after something specific. Anyway, I think that's all the info you need to know for now. Do subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and as usual, coffee is on me.